This video is all about the best way to level up in Once Human. I'm going to be covering the best way and then some not so best ways in case it bores you or you need variety in your life. I'm also going to cover other ways to level up relatively quickly very early on, as well as kind of in the mid game. But the way it works in Once Human is eventually you will outlevel all of the mobs, at least in phase 1. Because the mobs are around level 28, and if you get too high of a level, they stop giving XP. So there's other things you have to do to level up, and I'm going to show you those right now. So unlike other YouTubers that save this stuff for the end of their videos, I don't care about that. Let's just go over the best and easiest way, and that is salt farming. So what is salt farming? Salt farming is when you have a base near the ocean, and all you have to do is jump into the water, collect seawater, then all you have to do is dump that seawater into stoves. Electric stoves to make salt do not require any wood. So you just dump the salt water into the stove. 45 minutes later, you'll get some XP. I have 30 stoves here, and I'm going to talk about how I have 30 stoves, because you're not technically allowed to have 30 stoves, and how all this works. So, let me just show you the XP first off. I'm going to be collecting the salt here, so boom, 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 boom. That's all stacks of salt. And you'll see here I get Battle Pass XP, which is very important. But I also get regular XP, 89 per salt. And all I have to do is click the salt icon, queue up 99, mash that F button, and do that for every single stove. So, for those that don't know, you only can build 20 manufacturing buildings on your plot. That's all you're allowed to do. After that, the game will not allow you to do it. Also, depending on your tech level, you may or may not have the electricity required to run these. So all you have to do, and because this game is on Steam, and because this game is completely free, just make another Steam account, and then add yourself to your friends list, build your second account base nearby. Your second account doesn't need to level up, your second account doesn't need to unlock electric stoves. All you need to do is just have build permissions on your friends list. So you would open your friends list, and you'll see here, I'll go to friends, and then you can see I have Soulbenji Alt 2, and when I right-click on the name, I can click this arrow for friend permission, and then allow them to build and access storage, and that's all I need to do. And with that, I can have more than 20 stoves. In this case, I have 30. So let's do a little bit of math now. So here is the quick and dirty math. It takes 41 minutes to cook 5 stacks of salt. At 89 XP per stack, this means each stove will give you 445 XP per stove. It takes 20 stoves per character is the maximum, or 8,900 XP, every 40 minutes, or 222.5 XP per minute, or 13,350 XP per hour, and if you have 40 stoves, now you're cooking 26,700 XP per hour. And right now my character is about, 38, I think, and it only takes 22,960 to hit level 39, and from at level 39, or I'm sorry, 49 to 50, it's like 41,000 or something. So you can basically get a level up every hour until the high 40s, where it will take you every 2 hours. And this is doable completely AFK. All you have to do is just set your character here in the water, push G, you will collect up to 10,000 sea salt, doing 15 salt every single second. It adds up incredibly fast. I have a backpack mob that gives me boiled water too, so ignore that. But essentially, and then all you do is you just put the salt in these chests, and there you go. Then any and all of your characters can access it. If you have friends, they can come to your plots, and they can level up as well. And if you have multiple devices like gaming laptops or work computers or whatever, you can log in your alt characters and have them just AFK collecting salt while you actually go out and play the game. You yourself, if you have multiple devices, do not have to sit here and scoop up salt water if you want to go shoot mobs and farm things. So, just having this available to do is really beneficial, especially in Phase 1. You should be level 50 by Phase 2. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, this server I joined, I'm level 38 already, and I've only been playing on this server for maybe 8 or 9 hours. And tomorrow, I believe in 20 hours, is the next season. So, in 18 hours. So I have 18 hours to go from 38 to 50, and I'll absolutely easily be able to do this just by using salt. Now, let's go over another method that's, it's almost as good, but it's way more effort. Actually, before I do that, I want to tell you what to do with all of this salt, because you're going to be wondering, what the hell am I going to do with 100 million bajillion stacks of salt? And there's a few things. Now, the first thing you can do is you can take the salt to any town vendor and sell it for 100 of this currency right here, energy links. 100 energy links per 100 salt. Now, that actually kind of sucks. That's, it's pretty slow, and it's cumbersome, and it's annoying. But let me grab all of the salt out of these stoves, and then let me show you what we do with it. So, before you can do this, you will have to do one main story quest, and you push J, you go to tasks. Up here, you should have something called Eternal Land. It's really quick. You just go to a private island, and you put down a few house parts, and that's all the quest is. But once you've done that, go ahead with all your salt, push escape. This little island icon at the very top, click on Eternal Land, and then you're going to click on Shop Order. There we go. You're going to click on Sell, and then you're going to push the select button here to select multiples. Then you're going to simply toggle all of your salt, just like so. And what we're doing is we're going to be turning salt into what's called astral sand. And astral sand is the currency that you would use in Eternal Land to build houses and pretty things and plant trees. And Eternal Land right now for Season 1 is simply just a little private island for you to mess around with builds and blueprints. You can't import the blueprints currently into the actual season. But you can see here, I'm just dumping all my salt into Eternal Land for 10,395 astral sand. There we go, and sell. And that removes all the salt from my inventory super duper quick. If you want to do this by manually dropping it, it will take you forever. It is way quicker just to sell the damn salt. And if you want to go to town and sell to the vendors, you can. That will also take a while. But the vendors have a weekly limit of how much money they are allowed to carry. And you can circumvent that by logging into alt accounts and selling on those. But again, I would rather just sell cooked food instead. And that sells for way, way more, which I'm going to talk about in just a bit. Now, this next method, it's okay. I personally wouldn't do this method ever again because it's such a pain in the butt to set up, but I have tried everything, and this is probably the second fastest way to do this, and that is having a blueberry farm. And so let me explain how blueberry farms work. First off, you do have a limit of how much loamy soil you can put down. The furniture limit is 250, so you really have to limit your base with everything else that you have. Unfortunately, that is just how that is. Now, you're wondering, why not use the potted planters instead of the loamy soil? Because blueberries will grow regardless of if they're watered or if they're properly taken care of, and adding them into the planter does nothing to increase their speed of growth or anything. Also, once you have this down, this is completely automated. You never have to touch it except for every 2 days, and let me explain how that works. So, we have something called a grow shroom. And the grow shroom, you can get these by picking up mushrooms. Now, as far as I understand from my testing, you can only get one of these per account. Or per character on a server, right? So, with my main character, I picked up mushrooms until I found one. And then I spent hours picking up several hundred mushrooms. And I never found another one. So, I made an alt character and picked up mushrooms for 5 minutes and found one. And also farmed mushrooms and never found one. And then I made another alt character and farmed mushrooms for 2 minutes and found one, and then never found one again. So, the way you get multiple grow shrooms is to pick mushrooms, log into an alt. You can see here, Swole Benji Alt 2 owns this one. This one is owned by Swole Benji Alt, and this one is owned by Swole Benji on YT. So you can see, with 2 alt accounts, I have 3 grow shrooms, and these guys are... 3 is more than enough to handle 250 or over 200 of these blueberry plants. Next up, we have little rain men. These are like little raincoat-wearing ghosts that cry on your crops. These guys, I got 2 of these, and it took 1 hour of farming. So here's how it works. If you go south of Myers Market, down here, there is a docks. And right here on this road, exactly where I'm pointing, is a rain, it's like an umbrella monster. It's an umbrella floating in the air. It'll then phase into like a weird bony creature that's floating with an umbrella. You have to kill this, and it has a chance to drop a Rain Man. It is not going to be a floating bubble that you capture. It is just simply inside the loot bag of the slain monster. Now, there is a silo that has one of these rain monsters, and that silo will not drop the Rain Man. So, Make sure that you are not farming the silo for these guys because they do not drop from there. I did it for about 4 hours and never received a drop. There's other places in the world that the rain monster spawns at, but they're not nearly as quick. So what you do is you drive from Myers Market down here. It's like a 1-minute drive if you have a car. Might be longer on something else. You kill the rain monster. You drive back to town. You switch worlds. Then you drive back. You kill the monster. If you don't want to switch worlds or you just want to AFK, the monster will respawn every 15 minutes. Now, you don't have to have the rain monster. You don't have to grow shrooms, but the grow shrooms will plant and harvest for you. The rain guys will water your crops perfectly to what they need to be. However, even with all of this, the world still will rain on your crops anyway, which will pollute the soil. And I'm going to tell you right now, this part of the map I'm at, this little beach right here, kind of in the southeast, this part of the map has more rain than anywhere else in Phase 1, and this little stone outcropping has more sunlight with no shade than anywhere else. Now, every 2 real-life days, the soil becomes too polluted. You can see here, extreme irrigation and heavily polluted. This is minus 30. So, when it reaches this point, the only way to fix this is to open your build menu and then demolish it, and then replant them all down. Now, the cool thing is that all you have to do is put the soils back down. You don't have to plant them manually or add bottles of water. Your grow shroom and your rain man will do that for you. You just have to make sure that you replace the dirt every 2 to 3 days. Otherwise, your growth will just be really crappy. And let me tell you how many blueberries this yields. So, when the dirt is fresh and it's properly watered and it's in sunlight, you're going to get about 800 to 900 blueberries per grow shroom, which I have 3 of. So that's 2,700 blueberries every 2 hours. Okay? And the way the blueberries work is until you open their cage and claim the seeds and the blueberries do not decay. Alright, and so if you want, you just open your fridge and you store some blueberries, right? If you want to do it that way. The blueberries last 1 day in the fridge, by the way. 1 day. 24 real-life hours. And then all you have to do is, once you have your blueberry seeds, you put them back into the seed area here, and they will just automatically plant them for you. Now, these grow shrooms they do have a green light. They are next to a regular furnace, which I don't use. The electric furnace does not work. You have to build a regular furnace. You don't have to feed the furnace anything. It just has to be nearby. And then the green light, I just have it on a roof there. For the Rain Man, they need to have a blue light and be next to a refrigerator. And that makes them happy. So, I would prefer more Rain Man, but there is another method to this that we stack, which is more mathematically beneficial, which I will also talk about. But before we move on to that, let me tell you what we're doing with the blueberries. What we're doing with the blueberries is we're cooking them into blueberry soda. Now, I'm going to loot one of these, and I want to show you just how much a 99 stack gives me. So a 99 stack gave me 1,336 XP. So here is the math on the blueberries. So 2,700 blueberries every 2 hours means 1,336 XP per 99. Doing that math is 36,436 XP every 2 hours, or 18,218 XP per hour. Now, blueberries do have a few benefits. The blueberry sodas sell very, very well in the shops. They are worth 100 of these is worth 4,500 links, so it's way easier to sell them. And then stock up on them because they never decay, they never break, they never go away, so you can sell them every single week to the vendors when their stock resets. You don't need nearly as many stoves, so you don't have to go farm as much metal and stuff to build the stoves. However, you still need alt accounts for the grow shrooms, so you still have to do that. And you still need an entire plot of land that takes up all of your furniture for the damn soil, but you could put that on an alt account. But the problem, and the reason why this isn't as good as the stove method, is that all of your friends, all of your hive, and all of your warband can use the stoves. If I'm cooking salt on stoves, anyone else that's my friend who wants to use my property, or, building, can also put and use the stoves. Whereas only one person can benefit from the blueberries, because those are limited quantity, they take forever to grow. And yeah, so you can see here that not only is the XP per hour worse than salt, it's harder to set up, it's more annoying to maintain, it's not entirely AFKable like salt is. The only benefit that you get over blueberries is that they sell for more, they're easier and quicker to sell to vendors, they're a useful item, I guess, kind of later, not really. Once you hit Phase 2, you have better foods, you'll never drink a blueberry soda ever again, and so, you know, even with all of this, growing crops in Phase 1, it is not worth it one bit unless you're getting peppercorn ready for acid farms, but that's a different video. Now, as a bonus, another thing that alts do is you run your alts through, do the Crazy Hands house to get the disco ball, you can kill the tree boss to get the harvest seed here, and when you have that, you can, well, unfortunately use acid to craft these potions. Now, this is a stack of 49 Utter Delights. Look how much XP this gives. This gave me 4,410. I got 4 transformation cookies. This gave me 360. These are from gingerbread houses. And 47 living armor, which is useful to the very end of the game, and that's why I'm crafting these anyway, is another, 4,230 XP. Now, how do you craft these? You kill bosses, they produce a product. You then, like for instance, the harvest seed, the heart vine is from the tree boss. You get one of these in Phase 1. You need multiple alts to fill up your, plot with more of these to produce more. But you have to pay acid. You have to pay acid, and acid is super valuable and should not be used on anything in Phase 1 and should be saved for Phase 2. It also costs glass, which is another thing, too, that I didn't mention about the blueberry farm, is that the damn blueberries cost glass. So in order to just keep up with your blueberry soda production, you will need to be constantly mining all the time, which is an active thing. You can't AFK that. And even with 20 Digby boys, you are not going to keep up on glass production. I mean, try as you might, it's rough. Even with the glass perks that give you, faster crafting with less materials, glass is just too hard to acquire as a solo player to maintain crafting these blueberry sodas. But, yeah, so that's why blueberries and the living armor potions are an inferior way of getting XP. Now, the next method is mob grinding, and this is basic MMO stuff. You just go kill mobs. Now, I'm going to show you a few smarter ways to kill mobs than most people might realize that maybe aren't used to these types of games. So right here is a place called Winding Ridge Farmland. This is in the Iron River. Here's the full map. Here's Greywater Camp for reference. We're going to zoom in. Here's Greywater Camp, and then right southeast of that is called Winding Ridge Farmland. We're going to teleport to the tower next to it. And there's a lot of reasons to farm this place, but it is decent experience points until you reach a certain level. I don't know what that level is, but when you're in your mid-high 40s, this becomes pointless. And also, if you're under-geared, then this isn't really worth doing. It's only worth doing when you have the gear to be able to do it quickly and efficiently. So what I'm going to do is, there are 3 elite enemies in this area, and we're just going to kill the elites. Or you can kill all the henchmen too, that's totally fine. And I'm just going to show you a quick run here. So, I'm going to run up, and here's one of the bosses, so we're going to go ahead and just hit him with an axe. That's going to proc, a buff for me, so I can just machine gun him in the face, kill him really quick. That's 137 XP. If I kill a regular mob, that regular mob is only 17, but when I was a lower level, those mobs were worth 80 XP, and the bosses are worth 500 XP. So this really, really helps early on, but when you are higher leveled, it isn't nearly as good or useful. So, there we go. At this point, did I not loot that? Oh man, I thought I looted that. So there we go. And if I was lower leveled, I would say just kill all of these guys, just kill them. The XP will just really, really add up super quick. This is a very mob-dense zone. You get lots of really good drops. The XP is amazing. If you want to actively play the game and not AFK, or if you want something to do while you wait for your salt farms, this is a third boss, by the way. If you want to wait for your salt farms, this is the thing to do, is just farm mobs. But I am too high level for these guys. I'm like, what, 38, 39, I think, and these guys are 21. So they're no longer really worth farming. But anyway, once you've killed them, they do respawn every 15 minutes. Or you simply drive back to the teleport tower, and this run is like it's like a 2-minute run when you do it quick enough. I'm I didn't really do it that quick because I was killing, you know, the regular enemies and stuff, and my pathing was a little off, but you can do this every 2 minutes, and you're going to level up super duper fast, have tons of drops, lots of gunpowder, lots of those cortexes for your star crom farm. That's a separate video, but you just go to the teleport tower and you switch worlds. Now, another trick for even lower levels is at the second monolith. This is the first one. Monolith of Greed is the first one. The second one here is the Gaia Cliff monolith. You teleport here, and you can get a sniper rifle from this area. There's a blueprint on a roof. You just grab that. I'll show you in a bit. Don't worry. And what you do is, as soon as you teleport here, there are 2 mobs. So you just pop them in the head. And these guys, at the time, will give you anywhere from 50 to 80 XP. It's a lot of XP. Then you jump on the ridge, you kill this guy. Okay, there's a boss here that you kill, right? You see? And then you kill, you know, the other mobs. You just blow them all up. Unfortunately, you're not getting the loot from these guys. This is just, and I'm missing every shot. I'm sorry. I just woke up. Okay, don't blame me. I haven't had anything to eat in 2 days, so my hands are a little shaky. You know, a little shaky from lack of food. Please donate. You know, I could use a meal. But anyway, guys, there we go. So you kill the mobs, and there's some more mobs down there you can kill, but you just very, very quickly, you just climb right back up here, you go to the teleport tower, you change worlds, and all the enemies respawn. And that is one of the fastest ways to level up in the very early game before you can build an electric stove, but truth be told, levels don't really matter much in the early game. Now, another popular method was speedrunning the tree boss. You go in, you kill the tree boss. It takes like 1 minute and 30 seconds when you have really good weapons, but that got nerfed, so don't do that anymore. It sucks. Now, the final mob grind trick is not that far away. It's pretty simple to get to, but it is a silo in the Iron River area. It's right up here. It's called Securement Silo PHI, and you go from there to Greywater Camp. So I'm just going to travel there real quick. I'll skip to that. So here we are at the bunker, and this is basically the run. This is just a boss run. We're not killing mobs. I'm going to show you just how quick this is. You do this solo. Don't do it with groups. And we're running to one boss and killing it, and that's all we're going to do. So I'm just going to pop a heal real quick because screw it. Even though I have the heal blob, I don't care. So just follow my path, and this XP won't be that good because I'm too high leveled to do this. This is for a low to mid level, but almost every single player is going to want to do this at some point for their build because of the drops. So we have to kill this little whatever this is. I don't know what they're called. Black flower. We run through the doorway. And again, you can kill the mobs if you're doing an XP run, but they don't really give much for me. Like I said, like for me, that gave me 30, which is okay. It's not bad, right? So you can kill them if you want, but we're just concerned about killing one specific thing, and that is the umbrella monster we talked about earlier. Not for any kind of drops, but for the XP. Now, I'm going to talk about why most builds will be doing this anyway. Like, you'll be doing this 20, 30 times, depending on your gear progression. You'll even be doing this in later phases, in case, you know. But I like to knock it out now. We're going to answer this phone. And I know there's a bunch of stuff I should be looting, but I'm just here to show you the video. We're going to run into the padded room, jump around. That way we don't get all weirded out. It doesn't really matter if you jump around. And we're going to run through here. Now, check how much XP that this gives, because this is considered a boss fight for whatever reason. We have that rain monster I talked about earlier, and we're just going to blast it. There we go. And that's knocked out 121 XP. Then we run through here. Again, it would be a lot more. It would be way more. And then we're going to use the controller to get this. Let's see if we get the drop that we want. And yes, Ruthless Reaper right here. Almost all builds, this is best in slot for your shoes. So there we go. So you're going to be farming this anyway. And you also get energy links, 1,000, right? But it does cost a controller, but controllers are easy to get. So just to show you, because I know someone's going to ask, what is the Ruthless Reaper perk, dude? Okay, let's go to shoes. And the Ruthless Reaper, what it does is after you kill 2 things, you reload 80% of your magazine. It's just free. It's best in slot for my build, so I'm going to farm it, and it's very good for phase 1 for just about every build, anyway. But, yeah, if you do this at a lower level, that would be like 500 XP, and then from here, you just exit dungeon, confirm, and then you just load back into the dungeon, and you just do that over and over and over. That's 500, 500, 500, 500, and you can see here, like, if I need 24,000... 480 divided by 500. I'd have to do this 49 times. 49 times at 2 minutes, you know, that's about an hour and a half to hit a level. But again, when you're that low level, when you're like low 10s, 15s, 20s, it's like 8,000 XP to level up. So in that case, 8,000, you know, divided by what, 500 means you do the run 16 times or 32 minutes. While you have your salt cooking, you know, back at home every 45 minutes to give you another big XP dump. And that's how you do it. But, I mean, this is something you have to farm anyway for the drop, so there you go. Anyway, that's the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think. If you have an even better way of leveling up in Phase 1, not Phase 2, let me know. And for those that don't know, well, levels aren't important, because there's always someone in the comments that says that. Yes, they are important. Look at the rewards in the Battle Pass. Oh, Starcrom. That's the #1 currency in the game that you need. And look how many times Starcrom pops up in your Battle Pass. Not only that, but you have, of course, you have your memetics. Here, I don't have any good memetics, but oh, look, level 40, 45, and 50. You want these unlocked as soon as you can, so you can plan out your builds and plan out how you're going to play Phase 2. And then finally, in the Cradle, by hitting, you know, higher levels, you unlock even more buffs that you can stack and deal even more damage. So not only do you deal more damage by being a higher level, you craft more efficiently, and you have more Starcrom to get better gear. There's no reason not to level. I'm sick of seeing you level 20s trying to PvP me on the cargo fights here. As soon as Phase 2 opens up, you guys get one-shotted and you think I'm hacking. I'm not cheating. I'm just level 50 and better at the game than you. So with that said, I'm not being a jerk. I'm just being real, okay? You gotta be real with people. I'm sick of all these YouTubers and all of these videos. They're like, you know, just fucking robots. They're just robots. They just say the same thing over and over and over, and they're so nice and courteous, and they're not being real. I'm a real person. I'm a real gamer, and you definitely want to watch me for future tips and tricks for this damn game, because I'm going to tell you the real truth of the game, the real ways to farm, the real ways to get ahead of all the other little corporate goons that aren't going to tell you all the real stuff. So with that said, hit the damn subscribe button, okay? I read every comment. If you have any questions, let me know. Like the vid because I'm real. And finally, click the video on the right side of your screen. If you don't, the next time you take a shower, your soap won't be as lathery or foamy as it normally is.